वेलकम। आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन डेवलपमेंट और टोटल क्वालिटी मैनेजमेंट। If you've ever wondered why some companies absolutely thrive, constantly adapt, and just keep growing, while others really struggle to survive every little market shift, well, the secret usually lies right here in these two critical areas. So, let's dive right into this explainer and break it all down together.
ये है आज का हमारा रोड मैप। We'll be looking at the introduction to OD and contracting, diagnosing organizations and models, diagnosing groups and jobs, leading and managing change, designing OD interventions, and finally, total quality management concepts. Basically, we're following the exact chronological journey that an OD practitioner takes from start to finish.
All right, let's kick things off with our very first section, Intro to OD and Contracting. This is exactly where the foundation for any meaningful organizational change is securely laid out.
So what actually is it? Well, OD एक planned, top-driven effort है for organizational effectiveness. इसका process है input, process और output. ये action research से आज की agile organizations तक evolve हुआ है, focusing on respect और trust. It's never just a random guess. It's a highly systematic effort that impacts the entire culture and structure of a business.
So, how do we actually begin this planned effort? पहला step है entering and contracting. यहाँ हम इशू क्लैरिफाई करके रिलेवेंट क्लाइंट और ओडी प्रैक्टिशनर सेलेक्ट करते हैं। फिर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनता है, कवरिंग म्यूचुअल एक्सपेक्टेशंस, रिसोर्सेज और ग्राउंड रूल्स लाइक कॉन्फिडेंशियलिटी। बिकॉज लेट्स बी रियल, विदाउट अ सॉलिड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट अलाइनिंग बोथ साइड्स राइट फ्रॉम द स्टार्ट, टाइम एंड रिसोर्सेज कैन easily go to waste. Okay, so once that formal relationship is locked in and the contract is signed, we move to the next crucial phase, diagnosing organizations and models. Think of this as playing detective to uncover the true root causes of organizational failures. Diagnosis, root cause समझने का नाम है। हम open systems model use करते हैं जिसमें environment as input, strategy और structure as design components और performance as output शामिल हैं। If an organization is failing, there is almost always a fundamental misalignment between these inputs, the internal design, and what's actually being produced at the end.
Now, to systematically find these misalignments, practitioners rely on some really proven frameworks. Key diagnostic models हैं McKinsey 7S, जिसमें hard और soft elements हैं, Weisberg's 6-box और Nadler-Tushman congruence model. आज टेक्नोलॉजी इन सब को डेटा एनालिटिक्स और डिजिटल प्लेटफॉर्म्स के थ्रू रीशेप कर रही है. And that's a real game changer, making our diagnostic capabilities faster and much more precise than ever before.
All right, now we're going to zoom in. We've looked at the macro organizational level, so let's shift our focus to the micro level, diagnosing groups and jobs.
We have to remember that work is fundamentally shaped by design. Group level पर team norms और goal clarity देखी जाती है, जबकि individual level पर job autonomy और skill variety देखी जाती है. So instead of just pointing fingers and blaming individuals for errors or a lack of motivation, a skilled OD practitioner will actually examine how the system and the job itself are structured.
Now, there are two distinct philosophies when approaching all of this. याद रहे, Diagnostic OD root causes ढूंढता है और Dialogic OD communication के through change लाता है. It's kind of like Diagnostic OD is a doctor finding a physical ailment using objective data, right? Whereas Dialogic OD focuses on how the organization's members actually converse, participate, and share meaning to naturally evolve the culture.
Now, diagnosis is incredibly powerful. But remember, diagnosis without action, well, that's just a wasted effort. And that brings us to our next section, leading and managing change.
Whenever you introduce any kind of change, people are naturally going to push back. It's just human nature. Change के लिए readiness create करें. Our technical, political, या cultural resistance को overcome करें. Strong vision or political support ज़रूरी है. You really have to figure out if they're resisting because of old technical habits, fear of losing their political power, or just deep-rooted cultural beliefs.
So how do we systematically make this happen? Models use होते हैं Lewin's unfreeze, change, refreeze, or Kotter's 8 steps. The psychology behind that unfreeze step is actually fascinating. You literally have to prepare the organization psychologically by challenging their current mindsets and breaking down old behaviors before you can introduce anything new. Then, once the new way is finally accepted, you refreeze it right into the company's permanent DNA.
Okay, so once resistance is managed and the organization is successfully unfrozen, we move to the action phase, designing OD interventions.
These are the planned actions meticulously tailored to fix the problems we diagnosed earlier. In organization intervention, दरअसल एक deliberate, collaborative handshake between the current realities of an organization and its future goals. It's really the spot where strategic planning meets actual human action.
But what makes an intervention truly successful? Interventions planned activities हैं जो problems resolve करती है. ये valid info, free choice और internal commitment पर based होती है. इनके targets strategy, structure, HR या human processes हो सकते हैं. If your employees genuinely feel like they have free choice and real internal commitment, that intervention is absolutely going to stick.
All right, let's zoom back out now. Once those interventions are successfully in place and your organization is humming along, how do you actually sustain that excellence over time? Welcome to Total Quality Management Concepts.
TQM एक people-focused approach है for continuous improvement, यानी Kaizen और zero defects. It's not just some strict set of rules, It's a comprehensive philosophy that absolutely demands worker involvement at every single level to ensure ultimate customer satisfaction.
Implementing TQM के लिए एक massive paradigm shift की ज़रूरत होती है. Under the old way of thinking, quality was strictly technical, meant only for the inspectors, and was all about control. But new quality? That's strategic. It's led by management, it applies to the entire organization, and it literally strives for zero defects. It takes the heavy burden of quality off the end-of-the-line inspector and puts it onto every single employee.
Because quality दरअसल multi-dimensional होती है. The transcendental view sees it as innate excellence, like think of a Mercedes-Benz. Product-based focuses on measurable variables. Then the user-based view is highly subjective, it's all about fitness for use, while manufacturing-based focuses strictly on conforming to requirements. And finally, value-based quality evaluates performance at an acceptable price.
Now, even though quality can feel like a totally abstract perception, there is actually a way to quantify it. Quality का formula है performance divided by expectations. It's an incredibly simple equation, but man, it is profoundly impactful when you apply it to organizational strategy.
And to make this formula work seamlessly across the board, इसे 3 levels पर apply करते हैं: organizational, process, or job level.
But before we officially sign off, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to ponder. Looking back at that Q equals P over E formula, if your organization's performance is objectively high, but the expectations of your customers or employees are even higher, what happens to your overall quality? Well, it fundamentally drops. It brilliantly illustrates that managing expectations is just as vital as managing performance. Take a look at your own workplace systems with that in mind. Thank you. Until next time,